Alright, welcome fellow troglodytes to an Elden Ring build video. So, this build I'm calling the Screeching Milos build. So, let's take a look at it. So we have the Sword of Milos. I'm using two of them for this build, but if you're on your first playthrough, or you don't have a friend to drop a second one off to you, then you can just use one, it still works. We're going to use the Commander Standard for the damage buff it gives. We're going to use some kind of seal to give us the Golden Vow and Flame grant me strength for damage buff and then damage negation. For our armor, we're going to be using the White Mask, so when we proc blood loss in our vicinity, we're going to get a damage buff. The Raptor's Black Feathers for jumping attack damage buff. And then for the gloves and greaves, I couldn't find anything that's going to give us any extra attributes, so these are just for your personal preference style. For the talismans, we're going to go with the green turtle talisman because we're going to be doing a lot of jumping attacks. It takes a lot of stamina, so the stamina recovery is pretty necessary for this build. Lord of Blood's exaltation. Any blood loss in the vicinity is going to increase our attack power, similar to the White Mask. The Dragon Crest Great Shield, you're going to be up in the boss's face with this playstyle pretty much the whole time, so if you're bad at the game like I am, you're going to be taking hits, so this is pretty vital to this build. The Claw Talisman, similar to the Raptor's Black Feathers, is going to be enhancing a jump attack, giving us extra damage. For my Flask of Wonders Physic, I like to just go straight, straight damage negation. My stats are also really high right now, so I'm doing tons of damage, but if you want to increase your damage and you don't have your strength and dex maxed out, then you can do a strength and dex Wonders Physic if you want to. Alright, so let's go over the Sword of Milos. This is a really weird fucking sword. It has a bunch of hidden attributes, so we'll kind of go over them. Number one is that whenever a enemy dies in your vicinity, you're gonna get some mana back. It's a pretty decent amount of mana. Like if there's a bunch of enemies around you dying, then you're gonna get a full health. You're gonna get a full mana bar back pretty quickly. The second one is when you just do your normal heavy attack, drags it on the ground and does an upward cut. And then if you hold it down, same thing, but you're going to rush forward and do it. I think there's only a couple weapons in the game that do this, so it's pretty neat. When you do the scream or screech of Milos, your heavy attack is going to change. So you hold down heavy attack, and it's going to do this combo attack, and then you can also do the combo attack, and then if you do an extra input with heavy, you're going to do this super strong downward slam. So let's go over these buffs, or let's see our damage first and then show you the buffs. So just normal damage, getting 1075, 1075, and then alright, so the buffs, we're going to use the Commander Standard first. Golden Vow, and Flame Grant Me Strength. I'm not sure if Flame Grant Me Strength gives me extra damage or not without Fire Affinity, but whatever. And then do the Screech of Milos, and then see our damage. 2,000 fucking damage. That's crazy. We didn't do the jump attack there, so. But, let's see. We'll apply the Screech of Milos debuff and jumping attack, 2,000 damage. It's wild. Oh! And then another thing is when you're in the air, you do get a little bit of super armor, so you won't be like hit out of the air very easily. So the Screech of Milos, I don't know if I already mentioned it, but or the Shriek of Milos. It does two things. One is going to debuff your enemies so that they take more damage, but it also makes you do more damage. So we can just do a little test right now with that. Well, I guess it's still going right. But so if we, so the buff is going on us right now. So no, it's on us, not the enemies. So let's do a jumping attack, 1,365, and then we can debuff them. And then if I can hit them, here we go. Oh my god. Well, anyways, ignore that. But so it gives us a damage buff, and it reduces, or it also causes them to take more damage. So it's really cool, and it also makes it so that your heavy attack does that combo. So for me, the main damages come from jumping attacks, and it takes usually about 4 jumping attacks to cause that bleed proc. So um, you'll be getting that damage buff from the mask and from the Lord of Blood's exaltation. Once that happens, so typically what I see happen in fights is that if you're once the buffs run off, like the Commander Standard and the Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength, that's you'll usually get your blood loss a little bit before then, but your blood loss you'll be able to continue to proc it throughout the fight, so you'll constantly have that buff up, and then usually during the fight, I'm just able to get the Commander Standard off every now and then, so I'm able to keep that buff off if I can't get the Golden Vow going. Yeah, so overall, this is like the most solid build I've been able to find anywhere, because they all feel very situational, and after a while they just get kind of boring. Like all these like super strong faith and sorcery builds, I just get super bored with them. I mean, either bored or like some bosses they'll do great against, and some bosses like they just smack the shit out of you. Like you can't really do anything. But overall, yeah, that's a Shreiking Milos build. I'm going to go slaughter this entire village, but feel free to click off the video while I go partake in some bloodlust. Yeet. Yeah, see, we got hit right there, and we were still able to complete the jumping attack, even with, um, so we do have like a little bit of super armor war in there, which is nice. And again, so I'm on New Game +4, so all my stats are really high. But even if you don't have super high stats, like you're still going to be doing crazy damage with this build. I mean, all these buffs are, it's insane how much more damage you do, and the amount of things that you're able to take advantage of with all the damage buffs just make this build so good. And you're not really cheesing the bosses either, so it's still like, you don't get bored with it. It's still a lot of fun. It still takes skill to be able to play the game. So since my damage is already really high, sometimes I'll just put on heavier armor so that I'm a little bit tankier, or just something for style. I like to put on the Traveler's Cloak, just because I think that one looks cool as fuck. But I like to keep everything for the Bloodlust so on, because it does help out significantly. But alright, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your cave dwelling days.